Hi, in this video we're going to look at accessibility settings on an Android device. We're going to go to settings, which looks like a gear. And in here you're going to see a whole list of settings. We're going to scroll until we see accessibility. Now there are some accessibility features that come with some apps that when you go into the app you can turn on, which I've done here. We're going to jump to the first setting that will be on all of your devices, and that's Talkback. So when you click any of these settings, you are, if you go to the bottom, they'll tell you more about what this setting does and how to use it. So when Talkback is on, it provides spoken feedback so that you can use your device without looking at the screen. Talkback is intended for situations or people who have difficulty seeing the screen. There are other uses too. I've seen young moms use this feature. How to use Talkback. There's some swipe, double tapping, and dragging. What I do for my clients is I print out any of these instructions so they can have them available. We may have to use their Braille printer. We may have to enlarge the print. With these videos, I'll have linked directly to Android's accessibility docs so you can find this and print it off for them, because this is usually difficult for anybody to remember and get used to unless you have to do it a lot, or until you have to do it a lot. So this will talk back it'll talk through your entire screen, right? It'll put a little green box around what it's currently reading, and we'll just keep going until you ask it to stop. And so that's what this picture is showing you. There's a green box around a text field, and it's speaking to you. To turn this on, you would just flick that switch. All right. We are going to stop. All right. Next up are some display features. So we have the text and display size. So font will just increase the font on your device. And you see how it automatically changes everything, even the bottom. And that's different from default display. So default display makes everything on your screen larger. It scales everything. This plus and minus, these dots, this shows you what it looks like. Here's another example of what it looks like, and another example, right? Let's go back. Bold text. I'm a fan of bold text. It's one of the first things that I turn on for really anyone over 40. Your vision starts to decline when you're 40. For some of us, like myself, our vision is already affected by various things. So having that bold text on is really just what I need, more than font size and display size. So I like to have that on. I'll leave that on for these videos. Color correction. So you can use color correction to change the contrasts, the scales. Let's turn that on first. This is a red-green. This is a red-green. This is a blue-yellow color correction, and a grayscale color correction. I'm going to turn that off. And then there's color correction shortcut. And so this will allow color correction to show up in these fields, but it also allows for the shortcut to come on the side here. So whenever you turn on these shortcuts, they'll just pile up next to each other, and you can move them all together. You would tap it, and it turns on your preferred color correction, and then turned it off. Let's go back. We have color inversion. So if you turn this on, it inverts all the colors on your device. So this is really interesting right now. I actually have a theme that adjusts to my wallpaper on my phone, the background image you saw when we first started. And so that's got some creams and purples, maroons, things like that. I also use dark mode on my phone. I find that it uses up less of my battery. I find that it's less harsh on my eyes. When I go into, say, a movie theater or other dark places, I don't have to adjust quite as much. So I like using dark mode because we're doing color inversion. My phone still thinks it's in dark mode, right? I still have that setting turned on, but it is inverting all of the colors. So what was that really dark color now is going to be light, and what's that cream color now is going to be really dark. So this is an important thing to realize, that some of these settings are going to double up on top of each other. And so if there's settings that are coming out a little bit funky, a little bit not what you were expecting, see if there's any other settings that could be interfering with that. And then you can turn on the shortcut. Of course, you can scroll down and read more about what color inversion, how it works, why it works. You can toggle on removing animations. You can have a larger mouse pointer if you're using that kind of device with your phone. And you can have high contrast text. I'm in dark mode, so it's hard to see that difference right now. There's a slight brightness that happens with my text. Moving on down for display, there's an extra dim. So this will dim the screen beyond your phone's minimum brightness. Some people like that because the phone feels too bright for them. I'm typically not a fan. Usually I need my phone brighter for the settings that I'm in. Here's that dark theme I mentioned. This is what it looks like without dark theme and what it looks like with dark theme. Again, I also have a theme on my phone that adjusts the colors of my phone, these creams and purples and all of that based on my wallpaper. So for you, when you're not in dark theme, maybe you see white, maybe it's yellow, maybe it's blue. Dark theme will just stay on. Magnification, of course, allows you to magnify. There's instructions on how to zoom in, and you can turn on the shortcut so it's not something that your display size is not always too big. You zoom in on what you need to. I have some clients with vision impairment who prefer their font size to be large, their display size to stay normal, and then we turn on this magnification feature. And then there's select to speak. So select to speak is a little bit different than Talkback. Talkback will read through your entire screen or what you're tapping, whereas select to speak will only read what you have selected. And again, it explains more. You tap specific items on your screen to hear them read out loud. You can have the play button and the stop button, and then you can turn it off. Some of my clients find this easier to navigate than the Talkback. Even when we used the Talkback as an exercise just a few moments ago, it was a struggle to actually get it to turn off and do the right taps and things like that. So explore Talkback and select to speak as different options. You likely will not have both. You'll have one or the other. All right, in the next video, we're going to go through interactions controls, and we'll see you there.